What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. This video is going to be all about Dragon Ball Super episode 50. It's going to be my review, and I'm going to give you some thoughts about where I think the series is headed from here. Okay, so right off the bat, we start where we picked up from last week's episode when Black comes through the weird portal in the sky and he faces Goku and says, "Son Goku," and Goku says, "Oh, so you're Black," and then, obviously they're setting up to fight. So a couple of really interesting things happen right off the bat. One is that Black mentions, "Oh, this is the past," and he seems to be surprised by it. And he also seems to be surprised that there's time travel, and that's going to come into play later. He also looks around and he notices Goku, he notices Vegeta, and he notices Beerus. He notices and recognizes all of these guys, okay? And I found that really interesting. Why would he recognize Vegeta? That kind of confused me. And why would he recognize Beerus? That also kind of confused me. But they're world building here. I think they're setting little breadcrumbs up for us to follow as a viewer, so it's pretty cool stuff. Then, before anybody else can go figure out what to do, Goku flies up to Black, and he has this awesome line where he says something to Vegeta, and he says, "The early bird gets the worm." And I thought that was really cool, very much in character. And he goes up and he faces Black, and he says, "I don't know what kind of a person you are, but I hear that you're very strong, so give me your best shot." And this is really cool for a number of different reasons. First of all, Goku, despite what many fans think, and I think more casual fans think this than the hardcore fans, but Goku is not a good person. He's not a moral person. He's really just really into fighting, and he always wants to fight the strongest person. I mean, think about it. He lets Frieza get to his highest form of power just because he wants the challenge. He's an absentee father a lot of the time because he wants to be training. And there's just all sorts of examples in Dragon Ball of why Goku is not really a good character per se, but he is at least a consistent character because he likes to fight. So that's really cool. Black then says something really interesting to Goku. He says, "It is an honor to fight you in this body." And Goku doesn't know what that means, and Black says, "You don't have to understand that." Very interesting. A lot of people in the community have been speculating that maybe Black is some kind of a demon or something, and he possessed Goku's body, which this kind of implies that could be correct. I mean, he's saying in this body. We can assume that that's Goku's body. I really do believe that it is actually Goku's body from the future Trunks timeline in which Goku dies of the heart virus. But in either case, they start to fight. The animation is really, really good in this fight. It was really cool. Not quite as good as the episode where Black and Trunks face off, but still pretty good. They're going at it. Goku using Super Saiyan, by the way. Maybe Super Saiyan 2. I've seen some people say that there's lightning there that you can see, so it's clearly Super Saiyan 2. But either way, he's not giving him full power. He's like trying to test him, go Super Saiyan, which is kind of cool. And he's fighting Black, and he's basically handling Black in Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2. So Black's not really strong. I don't think we can mess with Super Saiyan God form at this point. But anyways, the Beerus and Whis are watching the fight go down, which, by the way, these gods, incredibly lazy people. They're watching something that's happening like 100 feet away from them, but they're watching it on that little hologram projector that Whis' staff makes. So, man, these are super lazy guys. They're literally sitting in lawn chairs watching this thing. Very interesting. But Whis actually says something right off the bat. He says, "Beerus-sama, did you notice what is on his right hand?" And that is in reference to the time ring, which is going to come into play later. But this is like the first thing, Whis notices that, makes a point to tell Beerus. And then Beerus says something like, "Well, who exactly is this guy?" And they make mention of the fact that his ki is very strange. He has some kind of strangeness to his energy, to his ki. These are all like hints or little breadcrumbs as far as who Goku Black is. So very interesting stuff. So as this fight continues to go on, you see this really weird thing where Black is like, it's like a shadow of his body is getting like sucked back into this portal, which is closing, and he's talking about how there's this thing in this displacement in time. But as Black is getting sucked into this portal, he hears Trunks say something about the time machine on the ground. Black then destroys the time machine before getting sucked back into the portal, and it's like this really like weird, like, man, the fight's already done, like Black gets sucked back into the portal. Like it was really odd to me, but at the same time I was surprised and pleasantly surprised that that's how they ended it. I was going to be kind of disappointed if Black just came back through time and then there was no like period for them to prepare or train. Like training's a big trope in Dragon Ball, so I was going to be kind of pissed if they just fought and basically he got handled, or Black handled them, or whatever. It was too easy for him to just come through and be in the past. So I like the fact that like the distortion in time created by the time machine was the thing that brought Black through time, and also like the reason that it's not a permanent link, that he gets sucked back to his present, our future. I thought that was kind of cool. But so he gets sucked back, it closes up. Trunks is really, really distraught because he's like, well, nobody in the future can handle this guy. The time machine is destroyed, so now we can't get back there. All hope is lost. It's a big bummer. And then there's this really interesting father-son moment with Vegeta and Trunks. So future Trunks is sitting there, he's really frustrated, and Vegeta just comes up to him and is just kind of like, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. It's going to be okay. And it's subtle, right? It's not like he's going to be like patting him on the back and being all emotional, because he's still Vegeta. But on a side note here, one thing that Super has done really, really well is expand upon Vegeta's character. They've really given him some awesome character moments, like in the Battle of Gods arc where he catches Kakarot. He literally catches Kakarot from falling after fighting with Beerus when he's like, basically he lost and got pounded into oblivion. He catches his at one time mortal enemy, and it was just this really cool moment. But there's several moments like that. This was one of them. It was a really great Vegeta moment where he's telling Trunks, like, look, it's gonna be okay. Because remember when future Trunks first came back in Z, like, Vegeta was not a good father at that point. He trained alone in the Room of Spirit and Time. He doesn't like give Trunks a fair shake as far as him being his son, but at the same time he had just became a father. He wasn't really sure how all that worked. Then over time his character has expanded and grown, and they give him this really cool moment, so I wanted to touch on that. Now there's a lot of world building that happens at the end of the episode, with Whis basically explaining what the time ring is, that it is from a Kaioshin, or a Supreme Kai, that it works through time, but it can only go to the future and then back to the present, that it should not have even been able to go back in time the way that it did because of the Trunks time distortion. And it's really, really interesting. This all is going to lead into who Black is, and it's fascinating stuff to me. We basically, in that moment, we believe that like it's over for them. They're not going to be able to go and help the people in the future. The only thing Goku cares about is the fact that he's not going to be able to fight Black, and he wants to. So it's, you know, really cool, consistent with the characters. But then Bulma finds the time machine that Cell used to go back into time way back during the whole Trunks Android Saga, Cell Saga time. That time machine that Cell used, she kept. It's the exact same thing. It comes out of a capsule. Very, very cool callback. So they're going to repair that time machine to potentially go into the future and defeat Black. Super interesting stuff, and that's basically how the episode ends. Now, the thing that's been driving me crazy about this whole thing is like, who is Black? There's so much like conflicting and interesting information. Like, so he's got a Patara, but he's only got one Patara. He's got a time ring, which should only be used or, you know, been given to him perhaps, or stolen from a Kaioshin. He's got Goku's body. I mean, it almost seems like this guy's like a collector. He's trying to build the perfect situation for him to gain power or to be powerful, or something like that. So it's really interesting. We don't know who he is. There are clues. I mean, he recognizes Vegeta, he recognizes Goku, he recognizes Beerus. Very interesting stuff. So I'm not sure who this guy is. Please let me know in the comment section. What are your theories? Who do you think Black is? Is he a Kaioshin? Is he a demon? Yeah, just let me know. Alright guys, time to check that nerd card. Today's question is going to be about the Matrix. So the question is, what was the name of the rogue program that our heroes seek advice and help from in Matrix movie number 2 and the Matrix 3? He's the guy that has that awesome speech about causality and how he drinks too much wine and then he must take a piece. And there's two answers you could give me, his real name or what they refer to him as. But what was the name of that rogue program in the Matrix? That's all I've got for now. Like the video if you thought it was awesome. Let me know your theories, as I said before, in the comment section below. I hope you guys are having an awesome and nerdy day. See ya!